All right. So that's why I'm going over it right now, so that way we can go over homework and focus just on difference of squares right before your quiz, so you'll have it fresh in your brain. Okay. So what's wrong with that one? Yeah. So rewrite it. Right. You know what 8? How do you get 8? Yeah. It's 2, 2, 2. You want it back? Or throw it? All right, so let's take a look. All right, so this is going to break down to y and 2, 2, 2. Small parentheses, large parentheses. If you want to do the SOAP right now, you can. Minus, plus, plus. And then put a y here and a 2 here. Y squared, 2y4. Again, you're just multiplying these two to get this one. You're multiplying these two to get the middle one. And you're multiplying these two to get the last one. And then one of each goes in. All right. So number 6 looks incredibly hard. Right, Katie? Kate says, yeah. But do you know what 512 is? Take a guess. I have 2 terms, right? 1, 2. All of those are 3s, correct? So that means it's a perfect cube. So that means something times something times something gives me that number. Take a guess. All right, if you said 7, all right, then you would do what? You would do 7x, 7x, 7x. What about 729? What's your guess for that one? 9. So you do 9yz, 9yz, 9yz. Now, 7 is not correct. If she was doing this problem, she went through and did her pattern, she would only lose one of the 5 points for this. Okay, does that make sense? So you make a guess at it, and you go in, all right, small parentheses, you went large parentheses, and you put 7x right here and 9yz. In this case, your 7 is incorrect, and it would be 1 point. As long as you follow the pattern, you're going to be good. Okay? I want you to understand that make a guess. Don't just leave it blank because I don't know what it is. Okay? Now, 512 is really 8. 512, when I add 5 plus 1 plus 2, gives me the number 8. And 729 just has, I don't know, 9 written all over it. 7 plus 2 is 9, and it ends with a 9. Just looks like 9 to me. All right, now, so that's an 8, all right? There you go. See, back in the day when I went to Maryville High School, they had to write our answers, our grades in. I had an 88 or higher in all my classes. So, because you can take any number and turn it into an 8.
You wrote on it?
Yeah, you get to write the same color pen as the teacher.
Wait, how did you do that?
You make that an 8. You can turn that into 8. That's an 8. That's a weird looking 8, but that's an 8. That's an 8. That's an 8. That's an 8. And then you just had to make those box number 8s there. So, yeah. So my parents think I made straight B's in high school.
They still do.
No, they're passed away, so sure.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. I never changed it, but I really wanted to. No, I went home with my bad grades. My sister, I couldn't beat my sister, so she was always awesome. So I was not going to be good in school. I was going to do correct. I was just going to take sports to the next level. So, yeah, 64x squared. 72xyz 81y squared z squared. Now, one thing I do not do here is I do not write this. I will not write this as 8, 8, 8, and x, x, x. It doesn't work with the same way, right? When I circle, see, when I try to circle two of them, it makes a mess of things. So always write it as individuals, and that way it will make it, oh, wait, I can multiply those together, it gives me that. And I can multiply those together, it gives me that. Okay? And that's how it's done. That's not too bad. Right, Kate?
It is great.
Sometimes. Number 7.
That and the roast.
Yeah. Number 7. Murray, what is 64? It is 8 squared. But you notice this is a cube. So in this case here, 64 could be what? It will not be 8 times 8 times 8 because that's 512. So we have to use a different number. Anybody know it? It is 4. It is 4AD, 4AD, 4AD. And what about 1? What will you do with 1? It's just 1, 1, and 1. Do a small parentheses, do yourself a large parentheses, put a minus sign, plus, plus. And then go 4AD1, and then multiply these together. 16A squared D squared. Multiply these together. 4AD, and multiply those together. That's how nice it can be. That's the letter A right there. All right, so we got 3 more before we move into getting ready for the quiz here. So what do you notice in common here in... I got a negative exponent, so I got to put the z underneath, correct. So that z is now not here anymore. So I got to put a z down here and a z right here. So now they're the same, right? So you can do what? 1 over z, leaving you 8x cubed minus 64y cubed z cubed. Now it's fixed. It was not a perfect square. See, z had a 2 on it. It's not a perfect cube, I should say. Now it is. Anybody notice anything else crazy going on? Well, look at this one and look at this one. Anything common? Ocho. Yeah, an 8 will come out. So I'm going to get 8 over z. And then that would leave me, this goes away, and it will turn that into an 8. Which we know is going to be like x, 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 2y, z, 2y, z, 2y, z. Then you do smaller parentheses, larger parentheses, and you can see the pattern from there. With an 8z out front. So this is what your final answer would look like. Do what? Say what? So these two right here will give me the x squared. These two right here will give me the middle one, which is 2xyz. And the last two will give me the y, the 4y squared z squared. What about number 9? What do you notice in that one? We think weekly. Abigail, what do you think? What do you notice about number 9? Like if you were taking a quiz right now, what would you look for at the very beginning? Yeah, 5 goes into 40. Yeah, so yank out a 5, and what are you left with? What number would go right here? 8. 5 times 8 is 40, right? X cubed, Y cubed, plus 1. Oh, that's now, look at that. That's just 2x. Whoops, I'm missing the Y. And 1, 1, 1. So I will stop there on that one because you're just going to fill in the pattern for me. I want to get down to number 10 just in case you show this up in your homework in the next couple nights. Number 10. Anything common in 27 and 125? Or do you notice, what's 27, Mary Beth? And number 10? Yeah, it's 3. So it's 3x, 3x, 3x. So how do we get 6? What number would that have to be? 2. Because 2 plus 2 plus 2. Does it make sense? So you're adding the exponents. So you're just going to divide them. So what about 120, 125? 5y, 5y, 5y. What's the y got to be to? 3. So now you got a small parentheses and you have a large parentheses, and you put one of each in here. Then you're going to multiply those together. Then you're going to multiply the middle ones together. And then you're going to finally finish up with the last 2. And then you're going to do the signs, minus, plus, plus. So even if they're kind of like really large numbers on there, you can do it. All right. Enough on that. Let's take a quick look at your homework. We'll do a couple problems from your homework, and then we'll take this quiz. Hurry up. Yeah, a lot of you guys didn't stop by. Mr. Compton, he came by. Aubrey came by. Who needs stuff? Yes, and Aubrey's a child. So go to homework 3.6. Let's take a look.
Sorry, I didn't want to,
Oh, you came right up to me and said, "Can I have my homework?"
No, I said, why did you out me in the email? That's what I actually said.
I didn't out you in the email.
You said I really wanted to type your name, but I thought that would have been too mean.
Yeah. I really felt it would be coming in.
Yeah.
It was distracting me from actually doing my job. All right, now. So look at your homework here. Let's take a look. We'll take some quick questions before we. Guys, you know how to do difference of squares. So like number 16. Oh, looking at number 16, what could that factor to? One's positive, one's negative. Take it and split them in half. I have perfect squares again in there. So that would factor down to what? What if you had, like, I don't know, 625x to the fourth minus 1. This is very similar to the one that we just did. That's why I'm doing it. What would that break down to? All right, so 25x squared plus 1 and 25x squared minus 1, correct? What do you notice about that? That breaks down to 5x plus 1 minus 1. And don't forget that, right? Now, are there any other numbers other than 625 that do that? Which ones? Anybody? Give me one of them. Huh? 16 does, because 16 would go here, and then what would it breaks down to what? 4 and 4. Is there another one? There is another one. Not 60. Not 60. Huh? 81. Yes, if you have an 81, it would break down to what? 9 and 9, right? Which would break down to 3 and 3. So there are only like 625, 81, and 16 are the ones that would actually do that. You can have 64, which could break down to 8 and 8. 8s. They're perfect cubes. So that's a squares to cubes. Okay? So there are some special ones that go from squares to cubes. But in this case here, I was just looking for those to go from squares to squares again. All right? So those numbers happen. Any others up here that you see that you... What are you going to do with this fraction in number 20? You just yank it out, go 1/2, right? 9x squared minus 49y squared. You guys know what that is. 3x, 3x. 7y, 7y. One's positive, one's negative. Anything crazy? Got negative exponents, you know what to do with those. Here's one with a negative right here, number 6, so you can see it if you want to see it. And that one there, all I did was I had the b squared. This b squared moved down here, okay? Then I had to put a b squared here and a b squared there. That yanks out a 1 over b to the 4th, leaving me this. And then I can pull a 2a out. Now that's a perfect square, but it's not a minus sign. And that's not a perfect square. So it was not going to be a difference of perfect squares. But it could end up being that way. Anybody see any up here that you want to see real quick? You want to take it? Guys, the main thing is, do you know the pattern? I mean, GCF is going to happen. You just have to know how to, and you guys are fairly decent with that. So this would be 4A, 4A, one's positive, one's negative, 3B, 3B. The only way this is going to happen is if you got two terms that are perfect squares and you have a minus sign. If they're not, like this one, I have a GCF. I would have to pull the GCF out, leaving me m squared minus 2n squared. That's a perfect square, but that's not. So this is as far as this one would go. Okay? If I have three terms, it is not going to be this pattern at all. It's just going to be a GCF. Okay? So that's what we're kind of looking for. So hopefully you can do this. All right? Yeah, what's common? 20. Take 5 out. 9x squared minus 4z squared. And then from there, you have 3x plus 2z and 3x minus 2z. Clear your desk. We'll take this. You have a front and a back. front and back, and make sure you turn in your homework packet dates. Factoring skills to the test. You'd probably be better off.
How many points is this? How many points is it?
I have no idea. Probably around 12. So 6 or 7. This could redeem you guys from the last one, so it should be a little bit nice.